Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Daniel. Welcome back to the YouTube channel Tech Tuning. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how we're going to swap out my trunk for the Supra one that I just finished painting. Today we are joined by Chris, who's going to be helping us with this process.
Follow me on YouTube.
What's your YouTube?
I gotta check. That bike guy, YT, all one word, no caps, no spaces.
So yeah, as you guys know, I've had the Supra trunk sitting around for a while. It's completely done, it's painted, and it's ready to go on. The main things that we're going to talk about is going to be taking off the parts of the old trunk that I'm going to swap over, like the latch, the lock cylinder, the wiper motor, and also the hatch lift struts. And then I'm just going to show you guys how Chris and I go about removing it and putting the new stuff back on. So without any more delay, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so what we're going to start with is we're going to take off these little bumpers here, which is just a 12mm. We're going to put those onto the new trunk, and then we're going to take out the lock cylinder here. Taking out the lock cylinder is going to be two 10mm for the hatch lock here, and then you just have to pull this tab and the lock cylinder will slip out the front. Once we transfer that stuff over to the new one, we're going to remove the hatch supports, and then we'll get to taking the actual hatch off of the car.
So this is the lock cylinder as it sits in the car. Basically you have this top plate which locks it in against the back of the car. So this slides in from the outside, and then from the back you have this that holds it like a finger to prevent it from pulling out straight. So when you want to remove this, what you need to do is depress the top, and you can kind of push it up a little bit, but I found the best way to do it is to kind of just hook this with your finger and then push with a screwdriver on the 90 degree, and when it's in the car it's not that difficult to pull out, and then you can just pull this straight out. So in the top driver's side corner of the hatch, there's this rubber grommet that goes from the hatch into the chassis. You gotta pop that out, and you actually have to drop the headliner a little bit. So there's a plastic tab that goes across here, and it holds the headliner to the chassis, the body. There's two metal tabs on each end that when you take it out, you have to take those out as well. Once you lower it a little bit, you'll be able to fish the two wires out from here. They're held on with these metal clips.
Yeah, and they're clipped up into the chassis with these metal brackets. And once you disconnect those, you should be able to fish that wire through the roof here. Then following the driver's side, on the other side towards the middle, there's the connector for the rear washer. This one's just a little slip over barb connector that you can disconnect one side, and same thing, pop out the rubber grommet.
I mean, worst case, you just drive it no trunk, you know what I mean? Like convertible.
As you can see, we have the two connectors on the driver's side disconnected, and we have the water line in the middle disconnected. Those are a bit of a pain, so you want to take your time, make sure you're careful with the headliner because the old cardboard ones are pretty fragile. Those two things out of the way, what we're going to switch gears toward now is going to be taking off the supports. Once the supports are off, one of us is going to be able to hold the hatch in the air, while the other one takes out the 4 bolts that are holding the hatch to the latches on the roof.
Daniel.
You got
it in there.
Once you have your Swiffers in place holding the trunk up, we can now look at disconnecting those latches. You want to keep hands on the trunk just in case for me?
Nah, I just think we'll both put our heads under it. It'll be all right. This is another application for the engine lift, because you can just lightly fix it to the trunk.
Go get the other side.
Hold on. Oh, dude, let's leave it this way.
Dude, it's just a pickup truck now.
This is money, dude. We could go get the 350 with this. Drop it right in. The squad will get even worse.
Alright, so now the new one is prepped and ready to go on. So we're going to lift that on, mount the latches, and we're going to put the struts on first so it stays up and we don't have to hold it. Apply a little bit of force to this corner.
Alright, so this is how you remove the wiper assembly from the trunk. So as you can see here, this is the motor, and these are the connectors that we were struggling to remove before. This is where they go to. You've got the actual where the arm mounts, and then this is the motor that has a rod through it, and that pushes on the motor. So these bolts are on this side are 10 mil. Be careful of this one because it has a ground on it. There's a sleeve that goes in there, and it was kind of getting stuck, so you just had to pull on it. Just give it a good tug, and then the whole thing will come apart. You can kind of press this forward, and I guess the wiper will start going. But what we have to do, which this is the step I forgot, is there's a nut on the other side holding this in. So let's switch this around so we can do that. Alright, so what you need to do is you can remove this 10 millimeter bolt, and then you'll be able to pass it back through. So hang on. So be aware of the fact that this is a spline shaft, so you do need to pull it off fairly straight or else you'll mess up the splines. But if you have a puller, that'd be the easiest. If not, you can just work a flathead around it.
Alright guys, so that is gonna about wrap it up for doing this whole trunk install. This got really wild really fast because it was way harder than either Chris or I anticipated it to be. But let me show you the final outcome now. And it doesn't look too bad. We did have some problems. We scratched it in a couple places up at the top, which is a huge bummer because I spent so long painting this and everything, but I knew that my paint job was never gonna be comparable to getting like a proper paint job done. All things considered, you know, we got the wiper on and we got the key lock working, so everything is together. And what's better about this one is just that there's no rust hole. I'm not gonna have to worry about this in the rain or anything. So all in all, I'd still say it's an improvement. Eventually, there's gonna be more that changes with the back end. I don't wanna give away too much of what's gonna happen, but there's gonna be some other changes, so this setup likely isn't gonna stick around for super long. But either way, in the time being right now, it's a huge improvement. Thank you guys as always for watching. Hopefully the video will help you out in the future if you need to do this job yourself. I know these trunks are pretty prone to rusting in similar spots that mine was rusting out. So I'm sure I'm not the first person who's had to swap one of these out, but maybe it'll benefit you guys if you ever have to do yours, or maybe you're thinking about doing it but didn't know how to do it. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Guys, it's me, Daniel here.